Hi, it's Shelley, and today I want to talk about retirement. Ever since I started my journey in working, it has always been my goal to retire. Back in the day when I was in my 20s, I started my RSP and I had this little yellow pad of note paper and I did planning and planning. Oh my God, these yellow sheets were hilarious. Like I had pages and pages of my planning every year. We were going to save this much, what it was going to take to retire, and all these things. I started this in my 20s. I've been nerdy all my life. So life ended up throwing me a few hurdles, and everything did not go as planned. But we'll talk about those struggles another day. My role model had always been my in-laws, my husband's parents. They retired early and they spent their summers in Canada and their winters in Florida. And I remember when I was in my 40s going down there to visit them, and I was so jealous. It was like, oh my God, I still got another 15 years before I can do that. It felt like forever that I was never going to make it to then. Well, you know what? Time flies, and eventually we do make it to retirement because here I am. So we ended up, my goal was to retire when I turned 60. But unfortunately, I was turning 60 in 2020, and we all know what happened then, COVID. So I decided that my goal had always been to travel as well whenever I retired. So when 2020 hit and I couldn't travel, I figured, well, what the hell? I might as well just keep working for another year, make a little bit more money. So that's what I did. And I retired in September of 2021. Yay, I did it. So I want to talk about a little bit about retirement and some of the challenges that everybody faces when they retire. Some people struggle a little bit more than others. Personally, I did not struggle with retirement because it had been my life goal. But I know a lot of you people out there do struggle with this. Like, what am I going to do? What is my purpose going to be? Can I financially afford to retire? Oh my gosh, I'm by myself. All these things that can go through your mind when you're thinking about retirement. So these are things that you should really think about in advance. What are you going to do for a purpose? Well, I ended up starting a YouTube channel, not this one, another one that was documenting my travels when I first retired. And I love that. That really gave me a purpose. I was horrible at it. Not that I'm not much better now. I've been doing it for 4 years, but it gave me a purpose. And that was really important to me. I've always been a bit of a busybody anyways. I can putter myself around. I love to cook. So that's another thing you can do is maybe delve into what is your passion? What do you love to do? And that's something that you can, what did you never have time to do when you were working? Those are the sorts of things you've got to think about and make yourself have a purpose. Because honestly, don't just sit in front of the TV, because our years are going to go fast enough without just sitting there and wasting our time in retirement. Okay, you're retired. What happens now? Well, there are stages to retirement. The first one, and I would say it's probably lasts maybe a year or two, and it's called the honeymoon phase. Oh my God, you are so excited. You're doing traveling, you're doing all kinds of wonderful things and you're spending a lot of money. Trust me on this one, because if you decide to travel, you are going to spend a lot of money, especially if you are in your honeymoon phase, because you want to do everything, you want to see everything, you want to go everywhere. So this is something that just be aware that in your honeymoon phase, you're on the go all the time, you're having fun, but you know what? Eventually, you're going to settle down. You're going to get tired of being on the run all the time, and you're going to settle into figure out what your purpose is and what your day-to-day routine is going to be. And you will need a daily routine, because honestly, the days can just go by, and just flailing around with no routine it's not good. So it's really important to set yourself into a routine, but no, you're going to have that honeymoon phase and it's going to be fun. If you've watched any videos at all about retirement, you're going to know about the stages. There's the go-go phase, the slow-go phase, and the no-go phase that they talk about in these retirement type experts, the gurus, that's what they talk about. Your go-go stage is your first years of retirement, depending on how old you are when you retire. They say it lasts up till about, maybe 75 or so. I am now 64, so I'm in my go-go stage. I retired when I was 61. So that means that you're going to be going, you're going to be doing things, you're going to be spending more money, you're going to be traveling the world if that's your thing, whatever. Those are your go-go years when you're still physically healthy, active, ready to take on the world, everything that you wanted to do when you retired. The next stage is your slow go phase. Now, at this point, you might have slowed down a little bit. And I think they call this one goes from a 75 to 85, 90 type of thing. So you may be starting to face some physical restrictions, some health issues, those sorts of things. And not everybody, don't get me wrong. So at this point, they call your slow go stage. So you may still be able to travel a bit, and this may be the stage where you do some downsizing, you sell the big house, you get into somewhere more comfortable for you, but you're still able to get out and about and do things. And that is another phase of retirement, and your needs will be different. Now, the last stage that they talk about is your no-go phase. And this is when you're up there, you're over 90 now, and chances are you're not jumping on a plane and going anywhere at this point. Not that you may not be perfectly healthy, but these 3 different stages of retirement, you definitely have to plan differently for each one. Obviously, your go-go stage, you're going to be spending more money than you are on your no-go phase. But at the same time, you're also going to possibly need more funding to help you with your daily issues. You may need home care, you may need nursing care. Not to be depressing, but these are the realities that we're facing as we move forward. So yeah, you'll just need to budget a little bit different, and having a good financial planner is very, very important as you retire, because you need to know how much money you're going to need for each phase, and you have to take into account inflation and all of those sorts of things, and what your changing needs are going to be as you make your way through the different stages of retirement. A lot of people aren't quite ready for full retirement, so they will work part-time. I did that. am doing that. I'm giving it up, but for a little bit, I was worried that I was going to be bored, and I was approached by the place that I had worked for years, and they asked me if I wanted to do a little bit of work for them remotely. I do it from Mexico. I do it from Canada. It depends on, it doesn't matter where I am. I can do that. But I'm at the point now that I'm ready to give that up, because I'm finding I just don't have enough time to do everything and that I want to do in my retirement. And these are my golden years. So honestly, I don't want to spend any more time working. So when should you retire? Well, that's a tough one, because it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your situation. Your financial situation obviously is the big one. The thing I would say about that is start early, saving for your retirement, because it's going to be here before you know it. So if you can retire, my advice on this would be retire as soon as you are able to, because life is too short. We think that we've got all the time in the world. We don't. Life is a blessing. Every day is a blessing. So just whatever feels right for you. But my advice would be do it as soon as you can. So what about you? Are you retired? Are you planning to retire? Do you have fears about retirement? What do you do to keep busy? Let me know in the comments below any of your comments on retirement, positive or negative, or anything else you want to talk about with this, because remember, this channel is about talking. Let's talk about issues that we have at our stage of life, us ladies who are retired, senior, solo ladies. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon.